I think he just got hit again in the elbow.
Yeah, on the throwback to first.
Maybe Daytona is not your place, young man.
Andrew Estrella not having a good time out there. Bermuda is a graduate student, transferred from Manhattan College, and played against his former team in the first series of the year when the Hatters swept the Jaspers in the newly renovated Melching Field out there in DeLand. Upstairs, count 1-0.
So you've seen Florida's new field, and you've seen the new field in DeLand. Which one you like the best there? I think the one in DeLand, man.
I like the one in DeLand. They haven't really finished it. They haven't done much with the seating bowl and the press box area, and I'm talking to some of the people over there. That's coming in the next few years. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. I really like what they did at Florida Ballpark in Gainesville, though. It's a really nice place to watch a game. And it was before, but now it's probably up there with one of the best in the country.
Yeah, the old area now is where the new training facility for football is. The indoor practice facility is built there now.
I'm planning on going up there to catch a game or two next month when the Wildcats hit the road, so I'm not here 4 times a week.
Okay.
Count is 2-1 on Bermudez. Righty to righty, here's the pitch. Fouled away, 2-2. Couple of changes in defense for Bethune-Cookman tonight. I already mentioned Luis Tuero moving from designated hitter to second base, platooning for Colton Olison tonight. We may see Olison pinch hit or get in there to play defense if the game goes south later on. And then Malik Stevens back with only his second start of the season out there in center. It has been Garrett Chun the majority of the season.
I like the batter, Olison. Hits the ball very good, plays great defense. I'm going to call a timeout. I think they have an injury here. It comes to the trainer.
Olison really is, and I've called him the black hole at second base, because if anything's hit over there, he just sucks it up. Nothing can escape.
Great defensive second base.
And it always baffles me how he always ends up 9 in the order for Bethune-Cookman.
He's actually a leadoff hitter, batting 9th.
And he's got the numbers of a leadoff hitter, too. He's hitting .323 is Olison with 20 hits and 21 total bases. 9 RBIs at the bottom of the order. Looks like Jonathan Hernandez and the trainer are okay with how Santiago Gomez looks. It's important for Bethune-Cookman. Yes, you want to win the game, but you want to get out of here unscathed. And you don't want to use too many pitchers because in 3 days' time, you got Mississippi Valley coming in here. That is a team. As I'll finish my point after the 3-2 runner goes. Strike 3 looking. And that's the end of the inning. I don't get to finish my point. We'll bring it up at the bottom half of the inning. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the bottom of the second we go. Wildcats with a 2-0 lead over the Stetson Hatters. Michael Torillo, Daryl Natil here from Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Jeremy Garcia, who hit the home run to give the Wildcats the win on Saturday and take game 3 of the 3-game series against Alabama State, punches one foul, and it's 0-1. Weather is a little odd for this time of year. It's cool. It's overcast. We thought we were going to get a bunch of rain over the weekend. We didn't really get it. A lot of games were canceled and moved and rescheduled because we thought it was just going to downpour Saturday into Sunday. And then it never actually rained. Count is 0-2 on Garcia, so I'll quickly run through his numbers. A .281 hitter, 10 runs on 16 hits, 1 homer, and 9 RBIs. Upstairs, 1 and 2. Garcia, sophomore from St. Cloud, Florida, and Harmony High School. Off his hands, and he stays alive at 1 and 2.
That's a great program over there at St. Cloud.
The Harmony Longhorns covered their football team once in the fall. They've got a really good athletics program in all sports down there. Yes, he did. He went around. The catcher, Labrador, picks it up and fires to first to complete the second strikeout for Smith. And Garcia down swinging on a sword. And now here's Brian Perez. Perez, still without a hit, only playing his 3rd game of the season after coming back from injury. In 11 at-bats, he's got no stats.
He got a base on ball.
Now 1 walk. That's his only trip to the bases this season. And he hits this one to third. Nice stab by Desero. Throw across the diamond in time. And there are quickly 2 away. And this brings up the 9-hole hitter, Malik Stevens. This is normally where Olison would hit, but Stevens getting the nod tonight. Another Wildcat making his way back from injury. This is only his 2nd start of the year. He's played in 11 games, 8 of those off the bench. Or should be 9 of those off the bench.
He's got 14 at-bats. Got a base hit.
1 hit, 2 RBI. Drove in 2 runs in that 1 at-bat. And he's on with 2 outs and nobody on the base paths here in the 2nd. Facing the lefty Smith. Stevens swings and misses in the count 1-1.
Yeah, that high cheese, that fastball is really popping right now.
A senior from Willow Spring, North Carolina, Malik Stevens. Played 3 seasons at Catawba Valley Community College before heading down to Daytona Beach. Count 1-2 on him. Smith trying to get out of the inning. Upstairs, 2-2. Last season, Stevens batted .255 and a team-leading 18 doubles and 6 home runs. He really heated up in the middle of conference play, but this time he goes down looking. 1, 2, 3, go the Wildcats. And we go to the 3rd with BCU up 2-0.
Labrador.
Daniel Labrador leads off the third inning for Stetson. The Wildcats still lead at 2-0. Labrador, a sophomore, batting .348, but only 5 starts this season. He's the second choice catcher for these Hatters, behind Anthony Gonzalez. Labrador, 6 runs on 8 hits, 1 homer, 7 RBIs. There's a strike, and the count 1-1. Eight, 9-1 up for the Hatters this inning. And it's bounced to the plate by Santiago Gomez, who's been very good, only allowed 1 base runner on a hit by pitch. Struck out 4 so far. Right now behind the count 2-1. Long look at in at his catcher George Braceras. He winds and fires. This one hit hard into left field and deep. Going back, Chun. Track, wall, it's gone.
Off the bat, that thing carried very well. The wind's blowing to left field. It continued to blow right over the Culverson side out there in left field.
One swing of the bat, and Daniel Labrador halves the deficit for the Hatters. His second home run of the season. And here's the 9-hole hitter, Lorenzo Miola.
You get up in that jet stream tonight, may carry to left field.
Miola, a freshman from Greenbrook, New Jersey. A lot of out-of-towners, I should say out-of-staters on this Stetson roster. They get players from all over the country. 1-0, and also outside the countries. They've got a couple of French Canadians on their team. 2-0 to Miola. Played his high school ball at Watching Hills Regional. There's a strike. He watches it go by. Hit high in the air to center. Back goes Stevens to the track. Drifting over, he makes the catch. It's a tough catch out there because the wind is blowing really hard from right to left. And it makes those balls that hang up there real tricky to track down, but there is one away. And Cameron Hill, he's not having to go to class yet, so he bats for the second time. The graduate student from Georgetown, Kentucky, and a transfer from the University of Kentucky. Tries to lay down a bunt that is fouled off and looked like it hit Braceras below the waist.
Yeah, that's why the umpire walking out to the mound, giving him a chance to kind of get his cogs together.
Hill grounded out softly to the pitcher in the first inning.
One run on 1 hit for Stetson.
Has played some pretty high-level summer league ball. Played for the Cotuit Kettlers of the Cape Cod Baseball League over the summer. This one softly hit to shallow left, and that's going to get down over the glove of Garcia, so a single for Cameron Hill. And 1 on with 1 away. Here's Evan Griffiths, struck out his first time up. The freshman from Longwood, Florida. Didn't have to go far to play his college baseball. Played at Lake Brantley High School. First pitch will not be delivered, and thrown on over to first to Boris Pena, who is not playing his usual position. Usually he's the designated hitter. He swapped his position with Robert Moya, who usually plays at first. And it's important in this game where you've got a couple players playing out of position to not make those defensive miscues.
Especially this time with the ball game with that sun barreling in, setting in the west, and you can see the reflection off the glasses of the first baseman. You don't want to get a bad pickoff move here.
It's really tough for Gomez, who's a right-hand pitcher, staring right at the sun. Gets a strike call in the outside corner, 0-1. Wildcats playing their middle infield pinched toward the middle, towards second base. A lot of space on the first base side if Griffiths tries to square it up and hit it the other way. The 0-1, runner goes. Throw down from Becerris is in time. Cameron Hill caught stealing, and there's 2 away.
There's another turf out. He's trying to slide head first on the turf, and he just went complunk right there.
Yep.
Didn't move.
And we saw a lot of players do that this season. That come in here that aren't used to playing on the turf, and they think it's going to act like dirt and carry the momentum, and it really doesn't. Swing and a miss and a slider outside, and it's 1-2.
But if you slide head first, you're not gonna get that momentum. If you slide feet first, you're gonna go past the base. You're gonna have to grip it. So it's better to do a foot first slide.
I remember on Tuesday against Jacksonville, the Wildcats scored a run where there was a ball hit up the middle and the shortstop dove for it, and he just like Hill did. He dove for it thinking he was going to slide like you would on dirt, but he just went kind of kerplunk and the ball went right past his glove. Full count, 2 down, nobody on. Chop foul to the BCU dugout, caught by Antoine Brown, who's kneeling down over there.
You know, Major League Baseball have bigger bases now.
Yep, bigger bases.
Pitch clock.
Just one of the rule changes this year, the pitch clock. There's been some divisive talk concerning the pitch clock. I, for one, am in favor of the idea. I think it should be maybe 20 seconds and not 15. Pitchers look a little bit rushed in a negative way. But I do like the fact that the pitch clock exists. Here's the 3-2 again. Swung on and lined fair. And that's going to get to the corner near the Culver's sign. Making a long turn around first is Griffiths. He'll be into second with a stand-up double. And the Hatters continue the inning with their 3rd hit of the frame.
So how important is that caught stealing base down at second base?
Very important because Cameron Hill has the speed. He could have scored from first and tied the game with the right jump. Here's Yohan Desero, struck out his first time up. And had a really nice play at third to get Brian Perez in the top of the inning. Or, excuse me, the bottom of the second. Gomez deals in the dirt.
Here's something you won't see in the program. The ball's in the dirt. It goes back to the pitcher. In the program, the ball goes to the dugout. Any ball that touches the dirt in professional baseball is out of the ball game immediately.
Well, that's unfortunately the downside of
College baseball. You only got
small
a couple
college
of dozen.
baseball. We don't have infinite resources. We got to keep using the balls we got. And going up playing Little League, we were lucky to have 1 ball. If somebody fouled it off into the trees,
You had to climb that tree.
you
and go get it.
had to go get it. Tying runner at second, and the ball skips away from Braceris, and now the tying run is 90 feet away. So, a ball in the dirt, then a wild pitch from Gomez back-to-back. And on Tuesday, against Jacksonville, and Gomez had his best and longest outing of the season. Going 5 innings and almost 100 pitches. 2-0.
Good pitch.
Strike 2 and 1.
Next Tuesday, we got what, the South Florida Bulls
South Florida Bulls coming in. That'll be a tough test.
Always.
And then we go to South Florida on that 18-game road trip in the month of April. We also go to Jacksonville to return the favor. We do not go to Stetson this year. So this is the only game that the two Division I programs in Volusia County will play against each other.
It's great that they came over this way, though.
I'm always kind of shocked why the Hatters and the Wildcats don't play more often in every sport. Basketball, football. Chop back to the screen. Count holds 2 and 2 for Desero.
Think back in the day, old Glenn Wilkes was coaching the Stetson Hatters. They played a very, very tough Division I schedule. They were independent back then.
2-2. Chop foul. And again, Braceras gets a sting as the ball goes by him. Count holds 2 and 2. Tying run 90 feet away in the form of Evan Griffiths. Gomez rocks and fires. Swing and a miss. Got him on the outside corner. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the third. Wildcats holding on to a 2-1 lead. Back to the top of the order to face a brand new Stetson pitcher. It's bullpen day for the Hatters, apparently, as they send Cole Stallings out to pitch against the Wildcats. Stallings' first delivery to Tuero is upstairs 1-0. Stallings is 1-0 with 2 saves in 14 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits, 8 runs, with 18 strikeouts, 5 walks, and a wild pitch, and there's a strike. Final line for Smith. 2 innings, 2 runs both earned on 4 hits, and he struck out 3. Count 2-1 on Tuero, who singled and scored his first time up. Inside 3-1. Tuero in game 1 on Saturday as he pops this one up to the right side. Bermudez is under it and makes the catch for the first out. Tuero on Friday was a combined 3 for 8. So looking to try and rebound, but he didn't do it that time. And here's Garrett Chun, the second of the Wildcat runs in the first inning. Singleton scored. And the first pitch he sees is inside for ball 1. This is the 90th meeting all time between Hatters and Wildcats on the baseball diamond, upstairs 2-0. The Hatters have won 69 of those games, but as I mentioned earlier, the Wildcats took 2 of 3 last season. Chop foul into the glove, and it's 2-1. Hit hard out to right field. Moving over Bermudez. He slides and he makes the catch as the wind made it tough for him. But it's a second straight fly out to right, and there's 2 down.
Tricky play that time. The wind is blowing to left field, and he kind of circled under the ball. He caught it and slipped down on the turf.
For a second there, I thought
It had gotten away from
that
him.
he had gotten away from him, but he kind of stretched his arm out there and made the catch. Here's Highland Hall. Had 2 RBIs, actually has 1 RBI, a hit in Tuero in the first inning, but then was caught trying to stretch his base hit into a double. Hall on the season now with 11 RBIs. That's second on the team, behind the 14 of Boris Pena. And with the wind blowing straight out to left, it's a right-hand hitter's kind of night here at Jackie Robinson, and Hall proves me correct as he drills that one to left field for a base hit.
Tomahawk that second hit right past third baseman for another hit.
And now here's Boris Pena, who popped up in foul territory and caused the controversy in the first inning where they called him out, then they called it a foul ball, then they called him out again.
He was out.
Pena looking to improve on his team-leading 14 RBIs and 2 homers. Against Cole Stallings, the new pitcher for the Hatters. Hatters green hats. Gray jerseys and pants with green numbers with a white trim. Wildcats in their alt-black jerseys tonight with the maroon and white trim and white pants with a black stripe. Their main whites that they use in conference play are just black and white with no maroon. Breaking ball strike outside corner 0-1. Spin it a throwback to first. Hall gets in there safely. I'm not sure where you fall, Darryl, on the uniform debate for the Hatters.
I can tell you something about that in a second. We're talking about.
The 0-1 in there for a strike and the count 0-2.
My first question is a Stetson hat a fedora?
No, it's a Stetson.
It's a Stetson.
Yes.
It's a Stetson. But I like the combination. I like the combination of the gray and the S with the cap built into it. And I got a nice little logo there.
0-2. It's a wild pitch, and it gets to the backstop. Hall will take second.
But I'm in conversation with Coach Hernandez about our Sunday uniform. We can go almost that San Diego Padre look if we get some gold sanitary socks. We can go that San Diego Padre look, especially with the pinstripes.
Yeah. I really love the the maroon jerseys over the white pants. It's my favorite look that we've got. 1-2 to Pena. Outside 2-2.
Base hit here would be crucial. Get that run back.
Would indeed.
Plenty of room to the right side.
Pena not really an opposite field hitter, and they're proving that with the shift on and the shortstop playing deep. Breaking ball, strike three looking, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Wildcats clinging to a 2-1 lead as we hit the 4th inning right here on the Cat Eye Network. Landon Moran leads off the 4th inning for the Hatters. Wildcats still lead 2-1. Moran lined out to the pitcher in the 2nd inning as he takes a ball inside from new pitcher Gabriel Perez. Perez is 0-1 with a 6.23 ERA. And he fires that one in there for a strike up and in.
He has some pop on his fastball.
Probably sitting in the low 90s. We don't have a pitch
The gun.
pitch gun out here.
They have the gun connected to the scoreboard, though.
Maybe we'll start seeing it once the Tortugas come poking around. And he takes about 8-9 mile an hour off that with the breaking ball that got Moran to swing and miss. 8 2/3 innings for Perez. 7 runs, 6 earned. 10 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. That one is drilled foul, and it's 1-2. 2 wild pitches for Perez. He's also given up a pair of doubles.
Yeah. He has a tendency to keep that fastball in the strike zone. That's why he's getting up those doubles.
Doesn't get the call. 2-2 as missed that one inside. Perez did pitch last 7 days ago against Jacksonville. 2-2. Breaking ball swung on and hit to the hole and into right field for a base hit.
what you call a CNI single, man. That ball just found its way in the right field for a base hit.
Yeah. And you think with Luis Chuero out there at second today, he's just coming off an injury. He actually DH'd on Friday.
And he dove at it. When you dive on this turf,
Yeah. And that brings up Christian Pregent. Pregent struck out swinging his first time. Runner aboard with nobody out. Both teams are really aggressively trying to get pickoffs at first base. Gabriel Perez, a sophomore from Pembroke Pines, Florida, down south. Played at Western High School. Spins and throws to first again.
Pregent's average dropped 6 points in one at bat. He's down at a 349 and 355.
30 innings in relief last year for Perez with a 2.70 ERA. Breaking ball swung on and missed, but it gets to the backstop, and the wild pitch is going to allow Landon Moran to get to second. I guess we'll call that a pass ball because that was a good pitch. $17 strikeouts a season ago for Perez in those 30 innings. Already up to 7 Ks in 8 innings this year, so. He's got some fire out of the pen, but he's been thrown into the fire this year with games against UCF, Florida State, South Carolina, and Jacksonville. Runner on second, nobody out. Outside of the dirt, 1-1. Pregent, a local prospect right here out of Daytona Beach, went to Atlantic High School. And he hits this one high in the air to left center. Chun moves over, steps in, and it's not deep enough to advance the runner. So Pregent 0 for 2 on the evening. Pregent, a redshirt junior at Stetson, so he was at Atlantic far before my time with the Sharks. Here's Andrew Estrella. Estrella got hit by a pitch his first time up and was stranded on first. On the outside, 1-0, and Perez has struggled to find the strike zone early on in his work tonight. The sun has blissfully dropped below the clouds. Pregent holds up on a breaking ball that misses inside, 2-0.
And that wind is picked up too, going toward left field. See, that flag is really straight out now.
Perez behind the count, 2-0. Hit off the end of the bat, foul. And it is 2-1. Wildcats have not played with a lead a lot in recent weeks. In fact, all 3 games against Alabama State, the Hornets scored at the top of the first. Ground ball up the middle, and this game is tied. Rounding third, Moran. He will score. And a base hit by Estrella is an RBI, and it's 2-2.
Tomahawk with fastball down the middle into center field. Moran comes around and scores 2-2.
Perez pitched himself into a little bit of a tough spot there, getting behind 0-2 and kind of really having to put one up the middle.
He had to put that fastball on the fat part of the plate. He just tomahawked into center field.
Here's Bermudez. Struck out looking his first time up down the second inning. Spin it a throw back to first to try and pick off Estrella. Bermudez, the transfer from Manhattan College, a team that Stetson opened up their season against in a 3-game set all the way up back on February 17th. They swept the Jaspers. This one is lined to left field, and there's another base hit. Stopping at second is Estrella, and there's 2 on and 1 out.
That's the 3rd hit of the inning.
It looks like Stetson has really latched on to Perez and figured out his stuff.
It's 13 pitches and 3 hits.
Here's Daniel Labrador. He hit the home run last inning that gave the Hatters their first run, hit it into the batting cages beyond left field. And now Braceras asks for time and signals to his infield about what potentially they could do. They're going to want a ground ball to a middle infielder here, try and turn 2. And escape with only minimal damage done. First and second, 1 out. Perez deals. Nice frame job by Braceras as he gets the strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, that ball was tailing away in a great frame work. Looked like it was outside.
As I mentioned, the Hatters beat up on the Jaspers 18-0 first game of the season, 9-1 the second game. And then Manhattan came back in the third game, but still the Hatters won at 8-6. Ground ball, that'll be a tough play for the third baseman. Firing to first, and it gets away. The Hatters take the lead on an error as Labrador reaches first. That'll be an error on Perez at third, as that was a tough play, grabbing it barehanded on a hop as it was hit softly to the left side of the infield. Estrella comes home from second. Bermudez goes to third, and there's runners on the corners with 1 down, and the Hatters have the lead.
With the new first baseman, you think Moya would have let that thing bounce and then tried to grab it. I think he tried to stab it before it hit the ground.
That's Boris Pena over there at first. Moya is the typical first baseman for this Wildcats team. 2 runs in the inning, and the Hatters show no signs of slowing down here against Gabriel Perez. Big cut and miss from the 9-hole hitter Lorenzo Miola, flying to left his first time up. Miola, a fruitful series against Kennesaw State, takes a strike outside corner 0-2. Four hits and 3 runs scored against the Owls in 3 games. The 0-2. Outside, Perez doesn't get the call. One, two. Swing and a miss. Got him. And there's 2 away.
Big strikeout right there. You can play your infield back now and play the batter.
The batter is Cameron Hill. Nope, it is not.
17.
Cameron Hill has gone to class, and here is Jaden Hilton, who we thought was the starting pitcher. That was a mistake on the stats.
Okay. Yeah.
Hilton, the freshman from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
So off the class, you go into the locker room.
Yep. Hilton, a .224 hitter. First pitch outside corner for a strike. 13 runs on 17 hits, 5 homers, and 18 RBIs. He has gotten his fair share of starts this season. Started 21 of the 22 games. This is only his first non-start of the year.
He's probably supposed to be resting today, but since the class came up.
Yep, since Cameron Hill can't play the whole game. That one hit sharply through the left side, and the Hatters are going to extend the lead. Jaden Hilton comes in and hits an RBI single to left. It's 3 in the inning as Bermudez scores, and it is 4-2 Stetson.
Here comes Coach Hernandez out.
And there's nobody throwing in the Wildcat bullpen, so this is probably just to try and calm his pitcher down and help Gabriel get through the inning, as he's going to face Evan Griffiths coming up next.
Okay, let's do a little trivia right here. You know, you talked about Kennesaw State, Stetson had played. Who's familiar with Kennesaw State at Bethune-Cookman University?
Ooh, man.
Women's basketball coach.
Women, yes. I was going to say
Great.
Nolan Alexander, who
Nolan too.
was the
Yeah,
former voice of the Wildcats,
that was the trick question.
filling the same role over at Kennesaw State. The Owls got to the NCAA tournament this year for the first time.
It's great.
But yeah, Coach Creighton, very familiar with Kennesaw State. Man, the women's basketball team took a massive leap forward this year, did they not?
They played a heck of a season. After Christmas, they were a different team.
And I think if you're not changing pitchers, the home plate umpire, Chris Pittman, is going to usher Jonathan Hernandez off the field.
You know, the women's team had the newcomer of the year. She played well.
Yeah, and she'll be back.
I'd like to see what Coach Clayton brings in next year.
Yeah. And I was...
Moore's Gymnasium is a hard place to play. You got the Cookman Crazies down in the corner, down there jumping around.
Griffiths now bats. He's 1 for 2. Struck out in the first and then doubled and was stranded on third in the third. Perez steps off. Perez wearing very shiny cleats. You can really see it now that the floodlights are on and the sun is kind of mostly dipped below the clouds off to our left. Coach Hernandez hot about something. Can't really hear him up here.
They were trying to say he balked. There was a timeout call.
Yeah, he stepped off and called for time.
So the third base coach is calling for time now. He wants to know
That's Steve.
what's the ball.
That's Steve Trimper, and now he is talking to second base umpire Charles Reddick, who was behind the plate on Friday for the Alabama State game. This is the same crew that worked that series. Finally, we'll have the first pitch to Griffiths, and it's low. Perez this inning trying to figure out how many pitches he's thrown.
He has 22 pitches.
22 pitches. Not an easy inning for the sophomore out of the bullpen. Swinging strike by Griffiths, and the count 2-1. Wildcats looking to get out of the inning. The Hatters have plated 3. They lead 4-2, already up to 7 hits here in the fourth. They've hit the ball hard and to all parts of the ballpark as Griffiths looks at strike 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners on. And the payoff. Outside 3-2, and we'll do it one more time with a full count. Nobody working in the bullpen for the Hatters, so in all likelihood we'll see Cole Stallings again for his second inning of work. Perez deals, runners go. Ball hit high in the air to center, not deep. It's actually going to be caught behind second base by Tuero. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on. And the Stetson Hatters have taken the lead. It's 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Robert Moya leads off a crucial bottom of the 4th inning for the Wildcats. They've gone from a 2-0 lead to be behind 4-2 in the space of 2 innings. As that pitch misses inside. We've still got Cole Stallings on the mound for the Hatters. And the 1-0, outside 2-0. Bit of a defensive switch in the outfield for Stetson with Cameron Hill leaving the game. He played center, but he is not there anymore. His replacement.
Got a bullpen ball. Both bullpens are active right now.
Yep. So Jaden Hilton, who replaces Hill, goes to right field. Griffiths, who was in left, moves to center, and Bermudez, who was in right, goes to left. So we've now got Bermudez, Griffiths, and Hilton left to right across the outfield. Count 2-1 on Moya, who singled in Garrett Chun in the first inning and was stranded there. It's outside 3-1. Wildcats have not had a walk so far this evening. And they have not issued a walk. The only free pass has been a hit by pitch. In the second inning from Gomez to Estrella, this ball hit high in the air, foul territory near the bullpen, and it is caught.
The wind held that up.
With about an inch to spare before the wall. One away, here's George Braceras, who struck out to end the first. I believe Landon Moran, the first baseman, made the catch. Over there. Time called from Daniel Labrador. He goes out to talk to his pitcher. This game has kind of been the opposite of what we've seen from the Wildcats this season, where they get behind early and then the bats pick up late. Here they got ahead early, and ever since that first inning, they've been set down in order minus the one base hit from Highland Hall in the third. The Wildcats have done a fair bit of work with 2 outs this season, specifically Saturday.
Yeah, they've been the cardiac kids most of the season, playing from behind.
One out, nobody on here, bottom of the 4th. As now we can see the lights of downtown Daytona Beach come alive as the sun goes down. The Brown and Brown building, the News Journal Center, all lit up beyond the scoreboard and left. Strike right down the middle, 1-1. That wind really still hammering out there towards left field.
Yeah, it's really picked up.
A 1-1. Breaking ball almost hit Braceras. He gets out of the way, 2-1.
You wouldn't want to be on that slingshot over there on the boardwalk.
Nope. I mean, I would never want to be on the slingshot over the boardwalk. Really?
Not with this wind, boy.
Not
I'm
with
looking at it now. It froze it.
2-1. No call from the umpire. 3-1.
Need base runners here.
We do indeed with the Wildcats down 2. Strike on the outside corner, and you could tell Braceras was mentally halfway to first. And he's going to have to stand in and look at a full count delivery from Stallings. Stallings delivers the payoff. Ground ball third base side, past the diving glove of Desereau. It gets all the way to the wall down the line. Turning for second and sliding in safely is Braceras. And the Wildcats have a runner with 1 out.
Found a fastball on the inside part of the plate, pulled that thing, and it bounced off the glove of the third baseman and bounded all the way down into the bullpen. So Jeremy Garcia steps up, batting .276 with a guy in scoring position.
And that was a tough play for Desereau. He made a really nice pick earlier in the game to get Brian Perez on a hot shot towards third, but that one he just could not handle. And that's tough for a right-handed third baseman. You see a lot of left-handed third basemen, so they can have their glove side to the line. Desereau's right-handed, so his glove side's to the inside, and so that ball just got past him as he reached around.
He tried to Olay that thing, and it bounced off his glove.
And Garcia stands in now, takes a first pitch breaking ball strike, didn't even offer at it.
Great chance here to get back in it.
Garcia down on strikes in the second. Righty to lefty, here's the pitch. Another breaking ball called a strike in the exact same spot.
They must see something there with that breaking pitch. You waste one in the dirt right here, probably.
I'm not sure if that's a change or a slider.
Looks more like a changeup from here. 2 off-speed pitches.
Watch him deliver the fastball here. Stallings. He did. He corked up the fastball, and Garcia barely caught up with it. He holds 0-2. Maybe looking for something right back up the middle. The second baseman, Estrella, playing way back on the grass. Here's Stallings 0-2. Breaking ball. Whew, that one crossed up Labrador, and it almost got by him.
That was a great eye that time.
And in the college game, as you well know, sometimes it can be a tough life for a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
These pitchers not always the most accurate all the time. Sometimes you have to act like a hockey goalkeeper. The 1-2. Upstairs, 2-2. The ball coming in somewhere between probably 85 and 95 on the fastball.
28 pitches now on the count for the pitcher.
Stallings in his second inning of work has allowed 1 hit and struck out 1. And this time he comes too far inside and hits Jeremy Garcia. What an at-bat. by Jeremy Garcia. Was down 0-2, fouled off 2 pitches, got 2 balls, then stood in there and got hit by 1.
That's what Coach Hernandez talks about, how greedy these guys are, how they're working the count and working the pitchers. We needed to see that in this inning to get some base runners.
And now with 2 on and 1 out, here's Brian Perez. Perez still looking for his first hit of the year. He's been on base once with a walk, struck out 6 times in 12 at-bats. First pitch to him, way up and out. And the count 1-0.
Got a right-hander in the bullpen for the Hatters, warming up.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of activity in the Wildcat bullpen, but now there is nobody out there. So I'm imagining either that if they're going to bring in a new pitcher, he's warm, or they're going to trust Gabriel Perez to go out and pitch a second inning, even though he gave up 3 runs in the top of the 4th. And we shall see as pitching coach Daniel Latham is out there talking to Stallings, and Cole will remain in the game. Not a bad crowd out here tonight, mostly Stetson fans as they've made the 45-minute drive east from DeLand. Perez stands back in with a 1-0 count. First and second, 1 out here in the 4th. Wildcats down by 2. And another one gets away from Stallings upstairs.
He's struggling with the fastball now. You saw the last hitter. He got 2 breaking balls over, and his fastball is missing now.
Perez just trying to be patient. Stallings got him to swing at a fastball. And it's 2-1. Stallings has the stuff. We've seen him go off speed. We've seen him work the fastball. We've seen him throw in maybe a slider in there as well. So he's got a nice arsenal. He struggled a little bit with command this inning. The 2-1, outside 3-1. Hence my previous comment about command, as all 3 of his misses in this AB have been wide of the mark by some distance.
I think if he loses him here, they're going to yank him. 34 pitches.
I believe that is Nick Guzzi in the bullpen. Ball 4. That one didn't miss by much, but it did miss inside.
And it did load him up.
And the bases are loaded on the first true walk of the game issued by either team.
And you got a hot hitting, heavy hitting Malik Stevens.
Malik Stevens only with a .71 ERA and 14 at-bats, just 1 hit, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, and he struck out 9 times, but he can high roll when he gets going. As we saw coming down the stretch of conference play last year, he led the team in RBIs and home runs and doubles. First pitch to Stevens. Ball in the dirt. And I think that was a little bit lucky there from Labrador as the ball hit off his shin guard and stayed right there at home plate. A wild pitch or pass ball plates a run here, as the backstop is way back there. You can't really see it on the camera, but it goes back for a long ways. So anything that gets past, it's not that difficult for a runner to scamper home. That time a strike, and the count 1-1. What a time this would be for Malik Stevens to get his first hit of the year.
Just thinking about that. Clear the bases right here with a double.
Bases loaded. 1 man out in the 4th. Stallings in a real tough spot trying to work out of it. Gets a strike call inside corner 1 and 2.
That was his pitch right there. Probably see a breaking ball right here with 1-2.
Stevens stands in, has that very angular. Holding his bat, he lined this one. It's a base hit into left. 1 run scores. That's Garcia. Here comes Braceras. He scores. And the Wildcats have tied the game. How about it, Malik Stevens? How about it?
Well, we said that it was time. He was overdue. And his First hit of the year, base hit to left field, or 2 RBIs.
It's a base hit and 2 RBIs for Stevens. And the Wildcats have tied the game at 4. Garcia scores. Briseras scores. Perez moves to second and Stevens stands on first. And man, it's been a tough inning for Yohan Desero at third.
And that's going to be it for him.
That is going to be it for Cole Stallings. And you kind of saw that coming after issuing 2 free passes earlier in the
Dug
inning.
a hole for himself. He was doing well. Well, Malik Stevens, I want he's asked for that ball. He wants that ball now.
Stallings is going to leave the game after 43 pitches. That's an inning and a third. 2 runs both earned on 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, 1 wild pitch, and 1 strikeout. And we will see who takes over on the mound for the Hatters. I believe it's going to be Nick Guzzi.
Nick Guzzi.
And give me a second to find him on here so I can tell you all about him. Guzzi is a sophomore from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Another one of the Northeast kids on this Hatters roster.
3.12 ERA.
Yep. In 8 2/3 innings, he's allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, struck out 10, and issued 6 walks.
You know, I'm looking at my phone and I have a new app. It's called the, I can't see it right now, but you know, there's a new alliance that's been formed for football. There's over 208 football players on the app right now, and all of them are coming to the spring game.
Really?
Yeah. I'm looking at it now.
It's going to be an important spring and summer.
Yeah, we got some kids coming, man. We got a couple kids signed out of Washington State, UMass, a couple kids from FAU. It's going to be interesting to see where the football program goes.
Now, under the direction of BCU alum Raymond Woody Jr., he announced his coaching staff just this week, and it's a collection of some alums, some people that Coach Woody has worked with in the Willie Taggart system over the years, and then some guys that have just come from further afield.
You got that Oregon pipeline and the FAU pipeline, then you got the UMass pipeline. We got some kids from the Pac-12 who are interested in coming to BCU. So it's going to be, you won't see the same roster you see for the spring in the fall.
That spring game is coming up.
April 22nd. We even have a host hotel. I do a podcast during the year called the Locker Room. I have the coaches on, like a coaches show. And I'm going to have a lot of the older players coming in. Right now, I think over 150 guys registered. We're going to have a breakfast that morning on campus.
So Nick
The pick
Guzzi is on to pitch.
That's the base
And
hit.
he lines this one to left. That's off the bat of Luis Tuero. Rounding third is Perez. He will score without a throw. Diving back in safely to second base is Stevens. And it is a Wildcat lead, 5-4.
Terrero, man, he's a magician with that bat.
That was first pitch swinging from Tuero. Welcome to the game, Nick Guzzi.
Wow. Chun.
And now Garrett Chung singled and scored in the first, popped out to center in the third. And he fouls this one away. And it's 0-1.
You know, it's evident that these kids have always played well when they're behind. Like you say, we had a fast start tonight and we lost the lead. So once Stetson got ahead 4-2, here come our bats.
And also for Stetson, this is a game they really can't afford to use too many arms in because they've got a back-to-back A-Sun series over the next week or so. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're at North Florida. The next week, they're back home against the Lions of North Alabama. And Guzzi deals outside 2-1 to Chun.
He has a unique, pitching motion. He taps that ball in the glove while he's in his windup. Almost like a double pitch.
Tuero on the single picks up his 11th RBI of the season.
He's 2 for 3. 261 in there.
Ground ball to the first base side. This could be 2. It won't be, as Moran takes it himself. And there's 2 away. Tuero moves to second. Stevens to third. So now second and third, 2 outs for the Pac-12 transfer from Washington State, Highland Hall. Hall had an RBI in the first, but was caught trying to stretch it to a double, and then singled in the third. So in reality, he should have been 2 for 2, but
2 for 2.
got a little bit greedy on the base paths.
Batting .253 now in the year.
First pitch to him is a strike on the inside corner. And Highland has had a bit of a rough start to the season. If you transfer in from a program like Washington State, you have a lot of expectations placed upon you. Here's the 0-1. Inside hit him. And that one got him pretty good upstairs near the shoulder neck area, and he is feeling it. Because that was not a slow pitch from Guzzi.
Yeah. You hope he's okay. You don't want any broken bones on the hand.
No. You don't want to get hurt in a non-conference game. Hole is the second hit by pitch of the inning.
It loads the bases.
And it loads the bases again.
Pena struck out looking in the third.
And popped out to foul territory to the first baseman in the first. So this is the 9th batter of the inning. So after the Hatters threatened to bat around in the fourth, they sent 8 to the plate. Pena is the 9th batter.
I think Pena needs to swing early in the count. You don't want to get in the hole.
Guzzi has looked rattled in his first 2 batters. He's given up a first pitch RBI single and then hit a batter. And the Wildcats' modus operandi is swinging early in counts as Pena fouls that one right in front of home plate.
He gets his pitch early in the count. You don't want to get in the hole and that breaking ball and that slider starts to pay dividends.
And I've been meaning to ask Coach Hernandez if I ever get a chance to talk to him about this philosophy of swinging early in counts and trying to get hitters off balance, because you see a lot of places and the strategy is, wait,
take pitches,
trying to read what the pitcher does and then get a hit late in the count. The Wildcats want none of that. Count 1-1 as a fastball misses outside and sends Labrador scrambling. Wildcats have a 5-4 lead, already 3 in the inning, and they've got them loaded up with 2 outs for Boris Pena. Guzzi deals. Pena swings and fouls it off again.
See, now you're in that hole, and that slider is looming big.
And Pena is one of those guys that loves the 3 true outcome baseball. He's not one of these small ball guys, bunt it, trying to loop singles, hit for average. He is a power hitter. Every time he sees the ball, he wants to send it over a fence somewhere. Here's the 1-2. And he tried to do it again and stays alive.
That was his pitch, but it was a little bit outside. He didn't get good aluminum on it.
Pena 2 home runs on the year. The only Wildcat except Manny Sufrain with more than 1. And his second one was the big one on Saturday that tied the game for the Wildcats. A game they would go on to win against Alabama State in the first of that 3-game series. Here's the 1-2. That's a tough pitch to take, but he let it go, and it's 2-2.
So is Sufrain, is he healthy? Has he played much?
He has not played much, no. Sufrain had his 2 homers in the same game.
Right, and then after
against
that,
Purdue
he got
Fort
injured.
Wayne.
Yeah.
And he's only appeared in 13 games and started 6.
Ooh.
Inside, and it didn't hit Pena, so the count runs 3-2.
Okay, the runner's going to be going on this one.
Full count, bases loaded, 2 outs. Wildcats really
We need this
in a
one.
position to do some damage here. Already 3 runs in the inning, and the Cats have taken the lead 5-4. The payoff from Guzzi, swing and a miss. He got him with the slider.
Yeah, I knew that.
And I'm not sure if you could hear it, but Boris
We heard
Pena
it. We heard it.
was hot.
Yeah.
He strikes out for the 2nd time today, but the Wildcats get 3 runs on 3 hits, and they leave the bases loaded.
We talked about that bases, the number of runners we left on base this year.
But the Wildcats take a 5-4 lead. We head to the 5th from the Jack right here at the Cat Eye Network. New pitcher for Bethune-Cookman University as we hit the 5th inning. It's Gerald Bess making his 5th appearance of the season. He's only pitched 3 innings. He's given up 8 runs on 5 hits with 4 strikeouts, 7 walks. He's hit 2 batters and thrown 3 wild pitches, so not the most economical pitcher the Wildcats have. The senior from Stone Mountain, Georgia, fires that one high to Johan Desero, who struck out twice in the ball game and had a tough day defensively at third as well. Bess high and outside, 2-0. Bess did not play last season, so he spent the last 2 seasons on the sideline because he was at Bethune-Cookman when they sat out the 2021 season. There's a fastball strike. And then before that, he spent 2 seasons at Alvin Community College in Texas. Outside, 3-1. Best from Stone Mountain, Georgia originally. He can also play first base. (3-1) here. Ground ball towards first. Fielded by Pena, back to Bess, and down goes Desero.
Great play all the way around. The pitcher off the mound, ran parallel to the first baseman, got the catch. Great play.
And great job by Bess, and as a pitcher straight into the game, it sometimes is tough to read that hop. You think maybe the second baseman's going to get it, maybe the first baseman's get it, but Best was on his horse and beat Desero to the bag by half a step. So now here's Landon Moran. Takes a first pitch upstairs, 1-0. Moran lined out to the pitcher in spectacular fashion in the second, and then singled and scored in the fourth, which was the big inning for Stetson, where they got 3 runs.
Yeah, he went to second on that wild pitch, and that started the inning.
Yep. He led off the fourth as the Hatters sent 9 to the plate in that frame. After a foul tip, here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss and a pitch way outside. Not sure what Moran was looking at there, but Best will take it, and it's 1-2.
Moran's batting .375. He's trying to get to .380.
One, 2 in the dirt, 2-2. There's already a Wildcat warming up in the bullpen, so you can kind of guess that.
Yeah, they know.
Best is just kind of a maybe get your 1 inning guy. The 2-2, swung on, chopped, foul.
You know, Best could be a guy, if he really gets his rhythm down, he could be a guy that can come in and give you an inning, a setup guy, late inning. He has a great fastball, 6'4", 210 pounds. He's just got to get his control and get his mind right.
Yeah. And you see that a lot with college guys, especially at this level, where they
give him an identity, let him just come in and just be a flamethrower for an inning and just throw some balls around and get some outs.
Where, you know, you've got the arm action, you've got the speed, and right there he just blew one by Moran before he knew what hit him.
97 miles an hour, I'd say that was. That was a serious fastball.
Best, one of the elder statesmen on this team as a senior. He's been around the block.
Yeah.
At both the junior college and the Division I level. Here's Christian Pregent, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout.
That COVID year probably helped him out too.
And he will have an extra year of eligibility because of that COVID year.
Right.
That was a breaking ball for a strike. Caught the outside corner.
Just needs some confidence. He's pitching well.
And this season, he's appeared against FIU, UCF, Florida State, and South Carolina. So
He's played against the big boys.
not great for confidence. But maybe against a fish of similar size, he comes in and gets it done. And he's got Christian Pregent quickly behind 0-2.
This would be a kid that can be a great late inning setup guy. Talk to Coach Hernandez about him.
The problem, to finish my point about college pitchers, is it's a lot of inconsistency. And it's really what this one's hit off the end of the bat and through the glove of Tuero. You can kind of tell he's not really used to playing second base as he got kind of crossed up on that one. And it's a base hit for Pregent.
Well, Pregent one of the better hitters in the A-Sun, so. Australia.
And here's Estrella. Estrella hit by pitch in the second and stranded there, and then singled and scored in the fourth.
With an RBI.
With an RBI as well. As he singled in Moran, who was on second at the time. And this time it's fouled straight back.
That fastball has some pop because they're swinging late on his fastball.
Mm-hmm. If Best can get Estrella here, this would be a really nice inning. Here's the 0-1. Through the slider, and it just missed it outside. So Best has been really dedicated to that fastball slider mix-up. Here's a 1-1. Inside 2-1.
But the teams you named that he pitched against, the fastball, those are fastball hitting teams.
Yeah, if you get up to the high major level, you're going to sit on fastballs all day long, and you kind of need something else to get by him, or you're going to need to throw your fastball 98, 99. As I can't remember the guy, but he's been in the news recently from Tennessee. Who's throwing 100, 200, 3 miles an hour. The reliever up at Tennessee.
I gotta go back and look at that. Three balls and a strike. You don't want to give it. You know, runners on base with 2 down.
3-1 from Bess. In the dirt, ball 4.
Bermudez, man, coming up.
Now here's Bermudez. Struck out looking to end the second, but has a single and an RBI in the 4th. And he's got 2 on with 2 out.
It's been the bottom third of the order for Stetson that's done a lot of damage.
Everybody from Moran down really has done the damage for the Hatters, including the catcher Labrador with the solo homer in the 3rd that really got the Hatters going. Foul tipped back to the screen, 0-1. I think just Bess needs to rely on his fastball to try and blow it by the hitters.
You got to change the location too. You got to change the eye level.
The wind has slowed down a little bit. It is also now blowing in from right field as opposed to blowing straight out to left. That ball is a swing and a miss. It bounces, but Braceras recovers and keeps the runners where they are, and it's 0-2.
And that's what I mean by eye level. You know, the fastball bounced it to the plate.
Still got the swing from Bermudez. Remember, Bermudez batting .261 on the season. 14 RBIs, that's good for 3rd on the team. No, 4th, on the team behind Estrella, Pregent, and Desero. Chopper to 3rd. This will be a tough play for Perez. He fields and fires. This time, it's in time. And the Wildcats get out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. And at the end of 4.5, it's 5-4 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. Robert Moya leads off the 5th inning for the Hatters after they sent 9 to the plate in the 4th. So we're right back to where we started, and Moya hammers this to left. That's going to get down for a base hit. And Moya has his 2nd hit of the ball game.
Moya's up over 300 now for the season. Tomahawk to left field. First pitch hidden. That's
Really
what I like about it.
Choked up on the bat and just shortened his swing. Poked it in the left. And now here's Braceras that really started the 4th inning rally for the Wildcats with a double. With one on and nobody out, Nick Guzzi is still the pitcher. And the ball is outside. And the count 1-0. I remember back in the first inning, I mentioned that the outside corner of the strike zone will
slowly disappear.
It'll shrink and grow, and it'll be in and out all night. That time, it didn't happen for Guzzi. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Pitch in the exact same spot. Braceras bit on it. Moya aboard with a single. And the 1-1 to Braceras. That time he catches the outside corner to Guzzi, and it's 1-2.
Took a little bit off the fastball that time. Found the outside corner. Now that wind's beginning to blow again to left field. It's swirling.
Balls in the air are going to be tough for the outfielders to play, as that fastball is in the opposite batter's box, 2-2. We've seen a couple of occasions tonight where fielders have been kind of crossed up by the wind. We saw Bermudez out in right make a really tough catch earlier, and then Malik Stevens misplay one in center field for Bethune-Cookman. Now the wind is kind of blowing straight in off the water. I remember in the series opener against Longwood a couple of weeks ago, the wind was just blowing straight in the whole night, gusting straight in. And both teams were getting frustrated because they were hitting the ball hard, but the wind was just keeping it in the ballpark. A lot of long flyouts that probably should have been home runs in that game. 3-2. Upstairs, and Braceras walks. 2 on, nobody up. Here's Jeremy Garcia. Was hit by a pitch and scored in the fourth and struck out in the second. As the Hatters pitching staff continues to give Bethune-Cookman opportunities to extend this lead. They left the bases loaded in the last inning, and now they're set up with 2 on, nobody out here in the fifth. As this game has already crossed the 2-hour mark, and we're barely over halfway through. Garcia shows bunt, pulls it back, and the pitch is low. Garcia hitting .281 on the season, and he tried to lay this one down and just pushes it foul. 1-1. I don't mind the bunt call here if you can get it right. Daryl, have you been watching any of the World Baseball Classic?
I have not.
Okay, well, I was going to bring up last night with 2 outs and Japan down a couple of runs. They bunted? They bunted in a very similar position. First and second with 1 out, I believe. And they were so confident in the bunt that they had the batter continue to show bunt even with 2 strikes. And eventually he laid it down. And
their fundamentals over there, man, are great.
And got the sacrifice.
You see the fundamentals from the little leaguers from Japan.
Here comes the corners in to try and take the bunt away. Pitches away outside, 3-1.
You got a kid playing for Puerto Rico, Mervel Melendez Jr.
Former Wildcat.
Yeah, he was a bat boy right here. Catcher now for the Kansas City Royals.
Throughout, after this half inning,
Got a loose ball out of the bullpen.
After this inning, I will look up the score of the finals between USA and Japan. They're playing down in Miami right now. A game that I have vested interest in. I have adored the World Baseball Classic this year.
I just haven't had the chance. I worked too late.
Yeah. I've been here's the 3-1. He pulls back the bunt. And the ball for the bases loaded. 2 straight walks issued by Guzzi. As I was saying, I've been the madman that wakes up at 5 in the morning to watch the games in Taiwan and Tokyo.
I understand. But see, down in Miami, they beating those pots and pans.
It's a great atmosphere.
At the old, what used to be called the Orange Bowl. I love that. When I lived in Miami, I used to go to a lot of Marlins games. In that ballpark, they revamped it too. They brought the left field, the center field fence in, I think.
I never went to a Marlins game at the Orange Bowl. I have been to a couple of football games and some soccer games there, but never a baseball game. The only Marlins games I've ever been to when they moved into the new, it's now called Lone Depot Park.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah, a beautiful place, and the ball carries well. Not much wind, but when they open the glass in the outfield, that thing carries. You hit the ball right out of there. Used to be that same site was the Orange Bowl.
And you see a lot of modern baseball field design elements that are similar. You see it with Milwaukee, with Toronto, with Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
All have that kind of retractable roof, but there's still not much wind because the roof is so high, but you've got windows to get a little bit of a breeze in there. We've got a new pitcher for Stetson while we've been jabbing away. I believe
32.
it is T.J. Milani.
T.J. Milani, sophomore right-hander.
T.J. Milani, in 6 appearances on the season, he's got no decisions. He's got a 7.88 ERA in 8 innings pitched. He's allowed 8 runs on 11 hits, 7 earned, with 6 strikeouts and 2 walks.
In July, I get a chance to see the Texas Rangers and the Guardians in the Texas Rangers' new ballpark. I'll be in Dallas that weekend. I'm planning on going to a couple of ball games out there.
I have not been out to either the old Texas ballpark nor the new one.
And the old ballpark is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that thing was only, 18 years old when they built the new stadium.
Yeah, yeah. So my dad and I have this thing where we're planning on, we're trying to get to every major league ballpark while we're still able to, and we haven't gotten out to Texas yet.
Yeah, I've been on the bucket list. I got to go to I want to go to Yankee Stadium. I want to do a New York trip.
Yankee Stadium is a good one, both the old one and the new one. Bases loaded, nobody out. T.J. Milani on the hill to face Brian Perez.
Come on, we've got to get some of these runners in right here.
Perez still without a hit on the season.
Yeah.
Walked and scored in the 4th.
Perfect time now, like Stevens.
Like Stevens did in the last inning. Takes a pitch low for ball 1. T.J. Milani is a sophomore from Sanford. Played at Seminole High School. And he missed the entirety of the 2022 season after surgery. This time it is hammered out to right. Left. Moving over is Bermudez. He can't make the play. It drops in front of his feet and kicks to the wall. 1 run scores. 2 run scores. Into third is Garcia.
That tricky wind blowing out in the left field.
It's an RBI double down the left field line for Perez. He's got his first hit of the season.
Since he hasn't had a hit, that's a double, not an error.
And the Wildcats extend the lead. It's 7-4.
He tried to basket catch it on a line drive, and it bounced off his chest.
Moya scored from third. Garcia scored from second. Brasaris scored from second. Garcia went from first to third. Perez is standing on second with a double, and there's still nobody out. And now here is Malik Stevens, who got a really big hit in the 4th.
Let's see if this opens up his offensive toolbox.
A 2-run single for him. He could get 2 more with 1 on the outfield here. The 1-0. And this one is hammered foul down the right field line into the Budweiser bullpen.
He's beginning to find the range. He just needs some at-bats.
The last 2 pitchers that the Hatters have sent to the mound, Nick Guzzi and T.J. Milani, have had rude awakenings in this ball game as Tuero hit an RBI single, first pitch swinging off of Guzzi, and Brian Perez hit a 2 RBI double off of Milani. Milani misses low, and the count 2-1.
You got a right-hander in the bullpen warming up. Can't see his number from here.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we may see another new pitcher before this inning is over if Milani can't cut a couple of outs here. But the Wildcats are set up. Second and third, nobody out, and Stevens lines it to center field. There's a base hit. Into scores Garcia. Rounding third is Perez. He scores without a throw, and the Wildcats have broken the game open. It is 9-4.
Well, Malik Stevens, welcome to college baseball 2023, son.
2 swings of the bat for Stevens. He's got 4 RBIs.
4 ribbies on the evening for Big Malik. I bet you'll be in that weight room at 6 a.m., man, hosting them weights up there with the football team. Great piece of hitting for the Cats in this inning.
And still nobody out.
Here comes the little second baseman.
Here's Tuero, who's not had the best day in the field, but has an RBI, single in the 4th.
He's usually a shortstop, right?
He is usually the shortstop and also has done a fair spot of DH this year, as he is recovering from a shoulder injury sustained really early in the year. Runner goes, throw down to second, not in time. At a stolen base for Malik Stevens. That's the other thing. Stevens has power, but he also can run
Great
like
speed.
the wind.
Yeah, great speed.
So now Stevens on second.
Terrero's up to 361 on the year.
And he's 2 for 3 today with a run scored and an RBI. Pretty good work at the plate for Tuero. Not bad for a guy only listed 6 foot even, and that's probably being a little bit generous.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's not an Altuve, but he's a little guy.
That one bounced to the plate and gets by Labrador. And the wild pitch allows Stevens to go to third. So now Stevens 90 feet away. And the count 2-0 on Tuero. I got the chance to see Jose Altuve play a couple of weeks ago. I went down with my dad to watch the Mets spring training. They played Team Venezuela in an exhibition.
It's in Fort Pierce?
In Port St. Lucie.
Port St. Lucie, yeah. That's a nice facility there.
It is a really nice facility. Here's the pitch. Bounce to the plate again. It gets to the backstop, and Stevens scores. The Wildcats have cracked double digits. It's 10-4 with a 5 spot here in the 5th inning. How about that? A single.
A walk, 2 walks, a double, another single, wild pitch, stolen bases.
And 2 wild pitches. And that's how the bread gets buttered. But my final point about Altuve, he only batted twice. He saw 3 pitches, he hit 2 home runs.
Wow. Did anybody bang the garbage can while you were there?
Nope. And another walk issued. This
I think
time
that's
to
over
Tuero.
with now.
It is over with. It is over with. Although, as a Yankees fan, I'm not sure I'll ever forgive the Astros. But yeah, it's really crazy to see him do that because he's about as tall as I am. I'm about 5'2", and the power he gets from just choking up, turning on the ball. His first pitch of the game, bam, gone to left field.
And that ballpark they're playing, the ball flies out of there.
Yeah.
They played a tournament there, a SWAC tournament early in the season. I think Prairie View played Grambling in the Minute Maid Park. Is that still called Minute Maid Park?
Which park is it?
One in Houston.
The one that Houston plays in?
Yeah.
Yes,
The
it's
ball
still
flies
called Minute Maid Park, yes. But I was talking about Clover Park down in Port St. Lucie.
Port St. Lucie, yeah.
Which is
I've seen quite a few games. We played one season. We played Michigan, and we played a doubleheader between Michigan, and the next game we played Michigan State. Yeah. No, I take that back. We played Michigan and Penn State in a day-night doubleheader down there in that ballpark.
Well, we've got another new pitcher in the game for Stetson.
Just like Jesse Orozco does.
And the
right-handed.
The game ERA for Milani is infinite because he gave up 2 runs and did not record an out.
Okay, let's see this kid.
And we have got,
This is let's see, Malini.
well, no, Milani was just who was pitching.
Malani, but they haven't changed it on the stat sheet.
Well, I think we were wrong. We were wrong. The pitcher who just gave up those 2 runs was Simon Lusignan.
Yeah, Lucian and Marini.
And
just
now
coming
Milani is coming in. So
yeah, we were wrong.
we were incorrect. We apologize.
That's because of the color of those
Yeah,
numbers.
the 31 and 32, very hard to distinguish.
TJ.
And now TJ Milani will come in.
13.5 ERA for him.
Well, I went through Milani's numbers earlier, but I guess now I'll go through them again. A 7.88 ERA. He's appeared 6 times through 8 innings, given up 8 runs on 11 hits, 7 earned, with 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. Simon Lusignan, before the appearance today, was 7.36 ERA, 3 appearances with 1 start. Only pitched 3 2/3, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, 1 walk, and a strikeout. And now the right-hander is TJ Milani, and he is in the game. Luis Tuero dives back in.
How did Terrero reach?
Walk.
He walked. Okay.
Final line on Lusignan. He only threw 11 pitches and faced 3 batters. There's a strike. First pitch to Garrett Chun. He gave up 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk and 2 wild pitches. Tough night out, an ERA of 99. Tough night out for Lusignan. This one hit right back up the middle, could be 2. Estrella for 1. On to first, Moran, double play.
4.63 DP.
And Tuero is caught on the base paths. And Chun hits into a double play. And there are 2 away, and here's Highland Hall. And that kind of takes the wind out of the Wildcats' sails a little bit.
Not quite yet. Highland's been hitting the ball. Batting .253. He's 2 for 2. Hit by a pitch last time up.
So does the official book have Hall with a single and a caught going in the first? I have him with just a put out and a failed double.
Yeah, single. Out. That's another base hit.
Well, he's got another base hit as that one
Wow.
gets past the glove of Estrella and into right. Highland Hall has brought his batting gloves today as he gets on base for the 3rd straight inning.
I think in the first inning you scored that a single out trying to stretch it into a double at second base.
Yeah, I didn't. I just scored it as an out. I will change that on my
Gotta
scorecard.
be a single because he waited for the throw, then he took off to second base and the cutoff man threw him out.
And now here's Pena. Man, the Wildcats have done it again.
Ran batting around.
They started with Moya in the 4th and ended with Pena, and they've started with Moya in the 5th, and now Pena is up. Took something off of that pitch and missed outside 1-1.
Pena's the only guy that has been on base.
Yep.
Struck out looking twice and popped up to the first baseman.
And Hall's had a ridiculous game. Now with that change on my score sheet, he's got 3 base hits and a walk. Pena swings and fouls this one back 1-2. And Milani is 1 strike away from getting out of an ugly inning for Stetson. The 1-2. Low 2-2.
Hall has put 30 points on his average. Came in batting .333, that up now to .362.
Great night for him.
He's going to be all swag. Definitely
Oh,
all
I'm
swag.
sure. I am sure. 2-2, 2 outs. Milani from the stretch. Bounces it to the plate, and it gets by Labrador to the backstop. And another wild pitch allows Hall to get to second. Third wild pitch of the inning for the Stetson pitching staff.
So I wonder what you do now with your bullpen. Do you put some of your major guys in, or you just?
Well, they have been throwing some of their major guys. Lusignan, Stallings, Milani. They've been in the regular rotation all season.
So do you throw your midweek guys now? Because they came with their firepower over here.
Here's Milani's payoff. Upstairs, and another walk issued to Boris Pena. And now I have to do the arduous task of adjusting my scorecard as the Wildcats have batted around.
Moya led it off with a single and scored, followed by Braceras with a walk, Garcia with a walk, double by Perez, single by Stevens. Cats, 10. That is 4.
Then Stevens stole a base and scored on 2 wild pitches. And that was the 5th run of the inning. All before the Hatters recorded an out. And for the second time this inning, here's Robert Moya. Singled and scored to lead off this inning.
Maybe we should spot a team 2 runs early and we can play ball.
First pitch was a strike to Moya. And here's Milani's 0-1. That's in the dirt, and the Stetson pitching staff just making more trouble for themselves. Another base hit here by Moya puts more runs on the board. You got to remember that there is a 10-run rule in place here, so if the Wildcats were to get to 14, if Stetson doesn't score again, that's game over. One. Hammered high in the air to right. Going back, Hilton. Back to the track, and the wind keeps it in the ballpark. Moya almost had his second homer of the season, but it is a loud out. 5 runs, 4 hits, and 2 left. And we head to the 6th inning. The score, 10-4 Wildcats, right here on the Cat Eye Network. Well, after the Wildcats break it open with a 5 spot in the 5th, we go to the 6th, and Stetson leads off with Daniel Labrador. Labrador had the big moment of the game for the Hatters, the solo home run in the 3rd to get Stetson on the board. At that point, it was a 2-1 game. Then the Hatters took the lead 4-2, and it's been all Cats since, as the Wildcats have plated 10 runs on 12 hits. Best continues to work on the mound for BCU, and this is a great time, or chance rather, to get Bess some quality pitches in without too much pressure on him, as the Wildcats are up by 8 or 6.
6 runs.
Yeah. Math has never been my strong suit.
Yeah, I stayed an extra semester at BCU because I was dodging math.
1-2 the count to Labrador. Ooh, we really wanted that one, as the breaking pitch didn't find the inside corner. Labrador, apart from his homer in the third, reached on an error in the fourth and was stranded there. This time he hits it high in the air to left.
That's another one.
Back goes Chun. Track, wall, it's gone. Daniel Labrador, have yourself a day, young fella. 2 solo shots to lead off innings. 1 in the third and 1 in the sixth. And the Hatters get one back. It is 10-5.
Maybe Labrador, maybe you should get him a room on the beach. Every time he comes over to Daytona, he hit double home runs. That ball got caught up in the wind.
He put it almost in the exact same place he put his first one, out near the batting cages in left field, and he just put it up high enough it got caught in the jet stream and
10-5.
floated its way out of there. Still not too worried are the Wildcats. They've got one guy lazily throwing in the bullpen down to our left. Upstairs is the first pitch to Lorenzo Miola. Miola 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. This is the 4th time this season that the Wildcats have put up double digits on the scoreboard. They did it twice against Purdue Fort Wayne in that 4-game series, 13-8 in Game 1, then 10-0 in Game 4. That's the game that Manny Suffrain hit 2 home runs in. Then they put 14 past Longwood in a 14-2 win in the middle game of that 3-game set back on the first weekend of March. And now they put 10 on the board against Stetson tonight. That one bounced to the plate in the count 2-2. Maybe looked like Bess was...
Yeah, hit the catcher on the shoulder, so the umpire goes out and give him a little time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Daniel Labrador has had a fantastic day at the plate. He has not had a great day behind the plate, as his pitchers have been throwing him some wild stuff that not all of it he has been able to corral. This one hammered back where it came from, but it's right at Stevens, who makes the catch, and there's one away. That's the second ball that Miola's hit very hard out to the outfield, but straight out of fielder. Hit it straight to Chun in the third. And now back to the top of the order for Stetson. Here is Jaden Hilton, who took over for Cameron Hill after his first 2 plate appearances. Hilton has only had 1 plate appearance, but did single in the fourth and was stranded on first. This time he chops it to third. Tough play for Perez. He fields. He takes 2 steps and fires, and it's out of the glove of Pena. Nice heads-up play by Braceras to keep keep Hilton at first, but it is an error on Perez, his second throwing error of the game. He also let Labrador on a very similar play in the fourth inning.
We need a ground ball DP right here.
Yeah, 1 down, 1 on. Here in the sixth. Wildcats with a 10-5 advantage. Here's Evan Griffiths. Struck out in the first, doubled and was stranded on third in the third, and then popped out on the infield in the fourth.
Now you got to throw strikes. Now you got to get back into concentration and throw your strikes here. You don't want to give him opportunity to ease back in it.
And even though the Wildcats have 10 runs, this game is not over. There's a strike.
That fastball is popping.
I'll tell you what, when there's a looking strike, Chris Pittman, the umpire behind the plate, will let you know about it. 1-1 from Bess. Bounced it to the plate like he's playing cricket. That's the wrong game. And it's 2-1. That's the second one Bess has bounced to home plate this inning.
He's now at 33 pitches. You might see him one more batter.
There is somebody warming up in the Wildcat bullpen. The 2-1, outside 3-1.
He's aiming it now.
And you could tell in his first inning, he was relaxed and just letting the mechanics work. Now he's kind of in his own head a little bit. He's giving up the home run and the base hit. Outside on a walk. So 3 of the first 4 batters in the inning for Stetson reach. And now it's Johan Desero with 1 out and 2 on.
And here comes Coach Sanchez.
And that might be the end for Bess. And even though this inning was a little bit rocky, Gerald Bess still did a pretty good job.
Oh, he's still in there. Still has the ball.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if Hernandez is just going to take all the time in the world just to let the guy in the bullpen throw a couple of more warm-up pitches. I did not think to bring binoculars tonight. I probably should have, but Bryce is usually the one that has the binoculars and looks down the lines and
They're gonna leave him
see. This is an interesting move from Coach Hernandez. As this
It has to be a confidence boost for the kid.
yeah, this is the longest appearance of the season for Gerald Bess.
38 pitches. Yep.
Maybe going to try and induce a double play ground out here.
Third baseman up.
As I mentioned, Desero 0 for 3. Struck out twice in the first and the third, then grounded back to the first baseman in the 5th. First pitch to him by Bess is low for ball 1. That one looked pretty good from up here, but again, we have a really bad angle. We're basically right where the camera is. Looking straight down at home plate. The 1-0 in the exact same place, 2-0. Yeah, it did look good. Might be just a little low as he's releasing a little bit too late.
Need a ground ball DP right here to short.
Space through the left-hand side for Desero if he can poke it that way. Upstairs a strike. I always thought it was going to be 3-0, but the umpire giving him 1, 2-1. Swing and a miss. They went to the breaking ball. And it's 2-2. It is a gorgeous night for baseball here at Jackie Robinson. A little windy, 65 degrees.
With all that March Madness on television, great to be looking at some baseball.
No March Madness on tonight. We are glad you are tuned into the Cat Eye Network. Bass is 2-2.
Oh, yes.
Got him looking, buckled him. The third strikeout of the game for Desero and Bess's first K. No, excuse me, Bess's second K. Got Moran in the last inning. And guess who's up right now? Here's Landon Moran.
Great to see this kid grow up tonight. Gerald Bess, 43 pitches, 2 hits, 1 earned run.
And one batter away from getting out of a jam here. Tried to go back to the breaking ball, never really broke. Stayed outside. Evan Griffiths is at first. Cameron Hill is on second. Hill reached on an error, and then Griffiths walked.
A little high.
Yeah, a little high. Braceras tried to frame it. Floridians, enjoy this weather while you can. It's
going to get hot.
Gonna go back up into the 80s towards the end of this week.
88 on Saturday. It'll be a hot one.
The 2-0.
Yes.
There it is. Is in there, 2-1.
Got the Delta Devils coming in for the weekend. Mississippi Valley State.
Yep. And a series that is very important for the Wildcats. These next two conference series against Valley State and Florida A&M, as in the dirt 3-1, are really important to try and separate us from the rest of the Eastern Conference. Something that is strange about the SWAC schedule, at least in baseball, is you don't play anybody.
Everybody. You don't play the whole.
You only play the teams in your conference. So we don't see the Southerns, the Gramblings, the Alcorns, Prairie View, Texas Southern. We don't see them until the playoffs. And ball 4 low, and the bases are loaded. And a
Regent. They're going to come get him now.
yeah, it's set up for Christian Pregent, who's one of the better hitters on this team, second behind Australia in batting average.
Kid did good. Gave up the home run, but he pitched well, 48 pitches. Inning and a half, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts.
Not a bad night for Bass. Hopefully a night that'll give him a little bit of confidence, bring his ERA down. And I'm trying to see who the replacement is. This Braceras is still in front of me. It might be Marcos Gamboa, but I'm not sure. This will be the 4th pitcher of the night for BCU. Stetson already on their 5th pitcher. And this is Darius York. York takes over on the mound. His numbers are as follows. He's 1-1 in 4 appearances, no starts. 1 save with a .982 ERA. In 11 innings pitched, he's given up 16 runs on 18 hits, 12 of those earned. He's struck out 7, walked 8, given up 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. And he is in a big spot right now with the bases loaded for Stetson and 2 outs here in the 6th. And you don't want this to get out of hand because even though you put up that 5 spot in the bottom of the 5th.
A base hit to cut it right back down to 2-run lead.
Yeah, you know that this Stetson team can pour it on. I'll read you some of their run totals this year. 18 runs against Manhattan, 15 against Delaware, 10 against Siena, 18 against Mount St. Mary's, 10 against Mount St. Mary's. So 14 against Kennesaw State just 2 days ago. So this is a team that can hit the ball and hit it well.
So the pressure's on York now. You got to come in and throw strikes.
Hilton at 3rd, Griffiths at 2nd, Moran at 1st, and none of those runners reached base via a hit, an error, and 2 walks. And up comes Christian Pregent. He's 1 for 3, struck out in the 1st, flied to center in the 4th, and then singled in the 5th. And it'll be interesting to see, based on what happens in the remainder of this inning, who Stetson decides to put on the mound for the bottom of the 6th. But it's time to live in the moment. Here's Pregent. Darius York deals. Check swing. He did not go, and it's 1-0. Most important thing for York right now, throw strikes, can't afford to walk in a run. The 1-0 in there for a strike. 1-1. Pregent wondered if that was a swing, and the umpire said no, that caught the lower part of the zone. The wind, which was gusting out towards left field, is a bit quieter now. And Pregent hits it high in the air to left. Chun with a beat on it. And Darius York does the job. 1 run, 1 hit, and the bases left loaded. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats still with a 5-run lead. It's 10-5 right here on the Cat Eye Network. Back at the jack for BCU Wildcats baseball. The Wildcats have a 10-5 lead. And they send George Braceras to the plate. Braceras struck out in the first. Doubled and scored in the 4th and walked and scored in the 5th. And now in the 6th, he's got another base hit. How about that? 2 for 3 with a walk for Braceras. But to be perfectly fair, didn't have a fantastic outing his last game, which was on Friday, as he was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and 2 groundouts.
2 for 3 today, now batting .289 on the year on first base.
Here's Jeremy Garcia, who's
0 for 1.
You may think this is deja vu, but I'm reading a different strat line. Struck out in the 2nd, hit by pitch and scored in the 4th, walked and scored in the 5th. The 0-1 outside 1-1. To all of you watching on the Cat Eye Network, thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us here at the Jack. This one is hit the other way down the line. It's going to be a fair ball and get to the wall.
He's going to score.
Rounding third and coming home is Braceras. He scores from first. It's an RBI double for Garcia, and the Wildcats have an 11-5 lead.
In the scorebook, looks like a screaming double, but the ball was held up by the wind and it landed fair, and it rolled down to the.
Now, I think they may call this a ground rule double, because I think it hit in fair territory, bounced over the short wall that separates the field from the clubhouse, hit the clubhouse wall, and came back into play. Okay. So I think they may send Garcia back to third.
Okay. Let's take away the RBI. Put runners at second and third.
Yep, they are gonna put him back to third.
That's a good eye by the umpire right there. We can see it from here.
I saw it, and I thought the umpires may have missed it, but they did not. But anyway, it's a double for Garcia. And the Wildcats are set up second and third, nobody out.
Perez doubled his last time up, 2 RBIs in the 5th.
And so he's trying to do what his comrade Malik Stevens has done and get 4 RBIs on the night. Perez grounded out in the second, walked and scored in the fourth, doubled, 2 RBI doubled and scored in the fifth. And that's a slider strike outside corner.
You're sure enough generous out there, buddy.
This is a man in Perez who did not have a hit before tonight's contest on the season. That time it gets away and to the backstop. It's another wild pitch, and in to score is Baceres. And it is now 11-5.
If we were watching basketball, they would say ball don't lie. That ball did bounce over the wall and hit the batter's cage out there and bounced back for the ground rule double, but the run still scores.
Baceres scores on the wild pitch. Unfortunately, Garcia doesn't get the RBI. Now that's take one away off of his stat sheet. I'm sure he won't be happy about that.
If this was professional baseball, you'd be mad about that guy because you get paid for those RBIs.
1-2, hit on a sharp line at a first. Moran makes the catch. And there's one away. Tough AB for Perez. Made good contact, but just straight at the fielder.
Here comes Muscle Man.
Malik Stevens has 4 ribbies tonight. Struck out looking in the second, but responded with a 2 RBI single in the fourth and a 2 RBI single in the fifth. Also scored on a stolen base and a pair of wild pitches. This one chopped to first and into the glove of Moran.
Back-to-back plays. I was about to say they're playing infield in, and Stevens, man, is about to knock somebody's teeth out via the line drive.
2 heads-up plays by Moran means there's 1 on third and 2 away for Luis Tuero. Tuero singled and scored in the first, popped out to center in the third, had an RBI single in the fourth, was stranded on second, and walked in the fifth and was caught in a double play. But a good night at the plate for Tuero. He's had a couple of tough plays at second, a spot that he doesn't usually play. He is in for Colton Olison, who's getting a rest tonight. Hammered down the line, foul. He missed that one by a couple of inches. And all it is a long strike. I think if that stays fair, he's still running, because that goes all the way to the corner.
Batting .261 on the year now. One of the hottest hitters in the SWAC.
Chopped foul, right side, 1-2.
Look for him to waste one right here.
Luis Tuero coming into the night, third in the SWAC in hits with 27. And he's got 2 already tonight. One more would put him at 30 on the season. And he fights one off foul, and it's still 1-2. Other offensive news and notes for the Wildcats. Robert Moya is tied for the SWAC lead in doubles with 9. He doesn't have one of those tonight. And Jeremy Garcia leads the SWAC with 7 hit by pitches. Oh, a strikeout looking for Luis Tuero. He thought that pitch was going to break more than it did, and Milani gets him looking to end the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. 11-5 Wildcats.
Good.
Andrew Estrella leads off for the Hatters here in the 7th inning. Wildcats have an 11-5 lead as Darius York is still on the hill for the Wildcats. He gets a soft ground ball up the middle. Garcia fields and fires, and there's one away. Nice little 6-3 put out there by the infield. Those kind of routine infield plays have been few and far between for both sides in this game. A lot of hard hit balls to the outfield, rather whether they be caught or down for hits. There have been 23 combined hits in the contest, 14 for BCU, 9 for Stetson.
The game is almost 3 hours long, pushing 9:30.
Long night at the office.
No better place to be, though.
For you and I, Darryl?
At the Jack.
I would agree. The 1-0. In there, 1-1. This is David Bermudez. Bermudez struck out looking in the second, singled in a run and scored in the 4th, and then grounded out to 3rd in the 5th. And York deals. Inside, did it get him? It got him. And a hit by pitch puts Bermudez on base. I didn't quite see where that hit him, but if it grazes his shirt, that counts. And now here is the man of the day for Stetson, Daniel Labrador, the 2 solo shots.
Let's see if we can get him out this time.
One in the 3rd and one in the 6th, both into the batting cages down the left field line. Hit one off of the starter Gomez and then one off of Bess. Upstairs, 1-0. And I think the sentiment from the back end of last inning when York came in remains. Just throw strikes and do soft contact and get outs. The Wildcats 9 outs away from taking 3 of the last 4 games against the Stetson Hatters over the past 2 years. That's in there for a strike inside corner, 1-1. The 1-1 in there for strike 2. I've noticed that Labrador is only wearing one batting glove on his lead left hand. The push hand, or the right hand, is bare. Not sure I've seen that very much.
That's 1960s Major League Baseball right there.
Well, it's
You either see him wear gloves or no gloves, but not one glove, like golf.
It's done him well tonight. The 1-2. Upstairs by his head, and it's 2-2.
Maybe something happened to the other glove and he just don't have it.
He lost it while rounding the bases during one of his home runs.
Yeah, on the trot. 2-2.
With Bermudez looming on first. Outside, full count. After today, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here at the Jack as the Wildcats host the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. I know you can catch the action on Friday night with myself and Bryce Hoynoski at the helm. Swing and a miss, and down goes Labrador for the first time today. Labrador was 3 for 3 before that with 2 home runs. And he sits down with a strikeout, and now there's 2 away in the inning. Here's Lorenzo Miola, 0 for 3 with a strikeout sandwich between 2 flyouts to the outfield.
His average has dipped down to 227 now. First pitch is over.
There you go. Fastball outside corner, strike 1. So 3 games against Mississippi Valley State Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday stream right here on the Cat-Eye Network. Saturday and Sunday streams to be determined. That Friday game set for 7 p.m. Breaking ball misses outside. And the count 1-1. After that, a week from today, we'll be right back here at the Jack to play the Bulls of South Florida. Another power conference team coming in here. We had UCF in here earlier in the season, and then Jacksonville last week. That's a ball low, 2-1. South Florida for the final home non-conference game of the season. No, correction, they'll play a home game against FIU on May 3rd. That's the final home non-conference game of the season. They'll be looking to get revenge on the Golden Panthers for a 12-2 drubbing down in South Florida back in February.
Yeah, I got a couple kids on that ball club, a couple of pitchers. El Duque's son is one of the players that pitches for the for FIU Panthers. A couple other kids.
And then a week after next, that's March 31st through April 2nd. It's the final 3 games of this long homestand. Yes, he did. And first base is covered, so nowhere to go for Miola. Second strikeout of the inning for York. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 11-5, the Wildcats lead. New pitcher for the Stetson Hatters is Dylan Jacobs. Jacobs 0-1 in 4 appearances with 1 start. The correction, 4 appearances with 3 starts. He's got a 7.36 ERA and he's 0-1. In 7 1/3 inning pitched, he's given up 10 runs on 9 hits, 6 earned, 7 strikeouts, 10 walks, and the first Wildcat to face him here in the bottom of the 7th is Garrett Chun. Chun singled and scored in the first, and then popped out to center, grounded to first, and hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the 5th. And that really took the wind out of the Wildcats' sails in an inning where they had already plated 5 runs, and that was the inning that they blew the game open. There's a strike in the count 0-2 from Jacobs.
And they got the bullpen going. Another right-hander down there for the Hatters.
They are using all the pitchers. Dylan Jacobs, a sophomore from Ocala. And he deals upstairs 1-2. Went to TNXL Academy. It's a private school. And his 4 appearances on the season as a breaking ball, strike 3.
Yeah, nice curveball that time.
Garrett Chun goes down looking. And that is, I believe, the 4th strikeout looking for the Wildcats today. And this is a pinch hitter.
Jason Hodges.
Jason Hodges replaces Highland Hall in right field. Hall, really great game. 3 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Count 1-0, and then upstairs 2-0. Hodges.
I think Bryce told me the Hodges is related to the former point guard for the Detroit Pistons, Hodges, or the Chicago Bulls, excuse me, Hodges.
Hodges, a 156 hitter in 32 at-bats, 5 runs on 5 hits. No homers and 3 RBIs. Count 2-0 to him. Nobody on, 1 out. After the strikeout looking by Chun. And Jacobs rocks and fires. Breaking ball missed inside. 2. You're right. Base on balls. The scoreboard had not updated. It still showed a 2-0 count.
Yeah, even on the stats, they had a 2-0 count.
So Hodges comes in and walks.
Is that Brian over there? Brian's here?
I think so. Wildcats have been issued 6 base on balls tonight.
Boris Pena has 1 of them. Struck out twice.
And also fly to first base in foul territory. The 1-0, this time hit in the air to right, not deep. Moving over towards the line, Hilton. He makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Solid contact for Pena, just didn't really direct it in the direction that he wanted.
That wind has died down. The flag is not even moving now.
No wind at all. Although even if there was the wind from early, I don't think it would have helped that one because it would have pushed it away from the fence rather than helping it out towards it.
Here comes Moya.
Here's Robert Moya. Moya singled and was stranded in the first. Popped out to third in the 4th. Singled and scored in the 5th and then popped out to right in the 5th. As he was the only batter that batted twice in the 5th inning. When the Wildcats set 10 to the plate and plated 5 of them. Count is 0-1 as the scoreboard finally updates. One on, 2 down. Jacob steals. Runner goes, and it's fouled away. And there's 2 strikes. You can tell that Hodges has the green light going on contact.
But with a 6-run lead?
Hernandez wants to get these Hatters on the bus and headed home in as quick a manner as possible. The 0-2. Low 1-2. That's a tough take for any batter.
It looks good from here.
Time called by home plate umpire Chris Pittman.
He called
some sort of, I heard him say warning.
2-strike warning. So what did he call it on? He pointed to the Stetson dugout. Though.
So maybe it's a pace of play warning. Because I know they are using a pitch clock even though we don't have the physical clock here.
And the batter was in the batter's box, so he called it on the pitcher? He didn't give him a ball. He's just
a warning. So there should be a pitch clock system here, but it is currently in Jupiter. being used by Major League Baseball. Runner goes, ball 2.
But it was here the other day. I saw the clock. They had brought the clocks back. Now they're gone again. They was installed last time I was here. I didn't see them.
They haven't had them
They're in Jupiter.
the whole time I've been here.
Okay, they're down in Jupiter.
Yep. Still give a stolen base for Hodges. And the count 2-2.
You can't see the pitch.
On Moya. And the catcher, Labrador, is going to go out to talk to his pitcher. What were you going to say? You can't see?
Couldn't see the signs. I guess sometimes the catchers paint the fingernails or they put tape on them. Now they got the wristband thing. They got the bud in the ear.
Well, not at the college level. In the pro level, they do.
We do. We had the bud in the ear the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw it.
I thought that wasn't legal for use at the college level, but apparently it is. Here's the 2-2. Moya takes outside 3-2.
I think we were playing Lehigh. I was sitting behind home plate and I saw them loading up the.
Well, a lot of times, the pitches will be called by the dugout now instead of the catcher. Here's a 3-2. Inside, and Pena draws a walk. Or, excuse me, Moya draws a walk. What a great at-bat. Down 0-2, fouled the one off.
And checking to see if he went at it. He swung at it, but he didn't.
Took a couple of really hard pitches to lay off of, but in the end, he draws a walk, and there's first and second with 2 down. Now here's George Braceras, who's had himself a ball game. After striking out of the first, he doubled and scored in the 4th, walked and scored in the 5th, and singled and scored in the 6th. Now he's up in the 7th with 2 on and 2 out against Jacobs. And Jacobs hits him, and that did not look good. Right on the hip with a fastball. The bases will be loaded, but that is...
You see, I think trying to steal second base, he's looking at the pitchers, or take your time and go down to first base. I don't know if that was a retaliation for Cat sending a runner from first base to steal second, so he beamed the catcher.
I don't think so. I just think that Jacobs missed his spot.
Okay.
Although I'm always one to...
They're talking trash in their dugout now, so we don't know what could be happening.
I'm always one to see the good in people.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't like to see the
but
malicious intent
I know
kind of thing.
etiquette. I know baseball etiquette. They'll throw at you if you try to show them up.
Now here's Jeremy Garcia. Struck out in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch and scored in the 4th, walked and scored in the 5th, and hit a ground rule double in the 6th. That should have been an RBI double, but it's just hopped over the wall and came back in play.
Hernandez is going to go down and
he doesn't
check on his runner.
So Garcia did not get credit for the RBI when Braceras scored. Braceras scored on the wild pitch afterwards. And Hernandez is still going down to check on his catcher, George Braceras, who got hit pretty hard.
On the hip.
In the hip or the side area.
All this with 2 down.
Yeah, and we do have a very capable catcher in Irvin Escobar should Braceras not be able to continue. But he looks fine out there at first. He's not going to be doing any stealing behind 2 other runners with 2 down. And the pitch way outside to Garcia, 1-0.
I sure remember one time we played Ohio State here, and it's almost a similar situation, and things got ugly.
The 1-0, outside 2-0. I would not be surprised if Jacobs does not see the end of this batter and Steve Trimper comes out to get his guy if he throws another ball. Bases loaded, 2 down. Outside 3-0. And all 3 pitches have missed in the exact same spot outside and high.
Give him the take sign right here or to go?
Take all the way. Make him prove to you that he can throw a strike.
Fat fastball down the middle.
The 3-0. You called it. Fastball down the middle, 3-1. Now the green light's got to be on for Garcia. A base hit, plates 2 at least. Middle infield playing deep and straight away. Outside, ball 4.
Give him the RBI.
Jason Hodges scores after walking in a pinch hit for Highland Hall. Moya moves to third, Garcia to second. Or excuse me, Braceras to second. And Jeremy Garcia is now on first, and now we will likely see a pitching change.
Brian Perez, 2 for 3, makes batter. Got a break in action.
Perez grounded to third in the second, walked and scored in the fourth, had a 2-run double in the fifth and scored as well, and then hit a hot line drive to first, which Moran caught on the fly in the sixth. And it doesn't look like we're changing pitchers. It looks like Jacobs is staying out there.
And it looks like the runner down at second is still laboring.
Yeah, that one's going to be a pretty nasty bruise in the morning for George Braceras.
Yeah. He can come by my pool anytime, man. I put him right there in that cool water, man. He'd be right.
So now here's Perez. And he takes a fastball outside. And I think he's going to have a green light here from Coach Hernandez.
He got plenty of room on the right side. They're playing him a shade to the left, center fielder.
High in the air to left center. Moving over is Griffiths. He makes the catch. 1 run, no hits, and the bases left loaded. How often do you see that? The Wildcats take a 12-5 lead to the 8th inning here on the Cat Eye Network. Top of the 8th we go here from Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Wildcats with a 12-5 lead. Jaden Hilton gets his third trip to the plate. This time to face Darius York, who stays in to pitch for the Wildcats. Both teams will have rued their missed chances today. Stetson has left 10 on base, Bethune-Cookman 11, including the Wildcats leaving the bases loaded twice. Stetson has left him loaded once.
Escobar is now catching.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is. So I guess probably out of an abundance of caution, Irvin Escobar is in at catcher. Replacing George Braceras, who got hit by a pitch in the previous inning. Another defensive change for the Wildcats is Jason Hodges stays in the game after pinch hitting for Highland Hall. He'll play right field. First pitch of the inning is inside to Hilton. Hilton came in the fourth to replace Cameron Hill, who had to left the field to go to class after playing 3 innings. He singled in the fourth and was stranded there, reached on an error in the sixth and was stranded at third. That's the inning that the Hatters left the bases loaded. The 1-1. Chop foul, 1-2. Look out, BCU bullpen, as that one came straight at him.
5 runs on 9 hits for Stetson. 12 runs on 14 hits for the Cats. 2 errors on BCU side.
I wonder if this is approaching the most hits in a game this season for BCU. It might. We will get on looking at that. Count is 2-2. And a pitch from York.
Yeah, he went.
And oh, the first base umpire, Terrell Poole, says no, so we'll see a 3-2 pitch.
Maybe the first base umpire had a hot dog in between innings. He's not ready to go.
3-2 from York. And ball 4. And a leadoff walk for Hilton. This is only the 4th time out of 8 innings that the Hatters have had the leadoff man aboard.
Well, they're not Alabama State for sure.
Nope.
Alabama State's going early.
Strike on the outside corner from York. This is Evan Griffiths. Griffiths struck out in the first, doubled and was stranded on third in the third. Popped out on the infield in the fourth, walked and was stranded on second in the sixth.
York now at 27 pitches. Bullpen is resting. There's a guy out there just standing on the mound.
A game that has almost reached 3.5 hours. Breaking ball catches the inside part of the zone and the count 1-2. Long night at the ballpark for all involved.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's because there's been so many pitching changes.
And so many runs.
Strike 3. Struck him out looking as Griffiths goes down for the 2nd time today. And only the 2nd strikeout looking from Wildcat pitching. 10th strikeout overall for the Cats.
Desrold struck out 3 times tonight, so let's see if he can get the hat trick.
He already has the hat
Well,
trick.
he already got the hat trick. Let's see if he can do the Stetson hat trick.
Desero has struck out in the first, the third, and the 6th. The only time he has not struck out, he grounded out to first.
Double play right into the shortstop.
Would be nice, but a fastball catches the inside corner, and it's 1-1. The crowd, which was pretty good in the early part of the game, is thinned out.
Yeah. Weeknight.
People have gone home. We're approaching 10 p.m. local time. Inside almost hit Desero as he backs away 2-1.
We played double headers in shorter time than this, haven't we?
Well, the
seven innings.
the one doubleheader we've had this season Here's a 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. The one doubleheader we've had this season that was 9 innings both games was took about 7 hours. 6 hours, 40-something minutes. I should know. I had to talk through all of it. Here's the 2-2. Hit off the end of the bat, foul into the bleachers. And the count holds. Two-two. Outside 3-2. Checking in on the standings in the Southwestern Athletic Conference after every team has played a series. In the East, Florida A&M went 3-0 over Mississippi Valley State. They lead the way. Alabama A&M and Bethune-Cookman both 2-1 as Desereau strikes out for a 4th time.
Yeah, I guess he don't want to come on this side of the Volusia Canyon for the rest of the year.
Nope. Here's Landon Moran. Moran lined out to the pitcher his first time up, then struck out in the 5th and walked in the 6th.
Let's see what Mississippi Valley did today.
Did they play today?
Yeah, they played Alcorn.
They played Alcorn?
Alcorn.
Now, that's a non-conference game, I believe. I don't think it counts as a conference game. Oh, inside, and it hit Landon Moran. And he'll take his base. First and second, 2 down. It'll be Christian Pregent. So I do not have a final score between Mississippi Valley and Alcorn. They play Nichols tomorrow on a Wednesday game. So there'll be plenty of miles on the Delta Devil legs coming in here on Friday. Nice pick by Tuero at second. He steps on the bag, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, 2 left. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Wildcats 12, Hatters 5. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Wildcats with a 12-5 lead. 9-hole hitter Malik Stevens leads off, takes a strike, 0-1. We were looking in between innings at the Mississippi Valley State Alcorn State game that was played earlier today. Even though they're both SWAC teams, counts as a non-conference game.
It was a wild one. It had been
with probably the 2 teams towards the bottom of the SWAC.
17-13 final Mississippi Valley State. That was some ball game.
And because Mississippi Valley also plays Nicholls State tomorrow in a
They're
non-conference
going to be tired. They're going to come and walk on it. Once you walk on the beach, that's it.
they might go down to the beach and say, hey, we'll take the weekend off. I doubt that's going to happen. The Delta Devils put a big one past BCU 12-1 last year down at Bethune-Point Park in a game that I did.
They haven't played here. They haven't played in
They
Jackie
have not played here, no. So I mentioned the WAC standings after one conference weekend. Florida A&M 3-0 over Mississippi Valley State. The other conference series all in the East all went 2-1. Upstairs 2-2 to Stevens. Alabama A&M and BCU took 2 out of 3 from Jackson State and Alabama State, respectively. Here's a 2-2. Upstairs 3-2. The count goes full. In the West, Prairie View A&M took a 3-0 sweep over Alcorn State. Texas Southern beat Southern 2-1, and Grambling State beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 2-1. And from an 0-2 count, Malik Stevens works a walk. And that'll bring up the top of the order and Luis Tuero. Other games around the SWAC tonight. Alabama State doing a season sweep over fellow Alabama school Jacksonville State.
That's huge. The Gamecocks?
Yeah, beat them 12-2 in Jacksonville and 4-2 in Montgomery tonight. And Luis Torero fouls it off, and it's 0-1. Grambling State is staying in Louisiana to play the Ragin' Cajuns. That game currently ongoing, no score, no live stats. Texas Southern playing another mid-major team, the Lamar Cardinals, out in Texas. And Arkansas Pine Bluff with a tough one down at defending national champions Ole Miss. Ball in the dirt, 1-1.
Great place to play in Oxford. We played in a regional one year out there in Oxford. We played at South Alabama and Ole Miss. 28,000 people. 2
really good schools. South Alabama in the Sun Belt. Not really known as a baseball conference. The strike on the outside is called against Tuero, and it's 1-2. SWAC series this weekend. I'll get to that after the 1-2. Jacobs checks the runner at first. Stevens stays put and he deals. Hit off the end of the bat, foul. Now they'll make the river. This weekend, 3-game series are all of these. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Prairie View A&M in the West. Southern at Texas Southern. Alcorn State at Grambling State. Those are the 3 Western Conference series. Then in the East, it's Alabama A&M at Florida A&M. Alabama State at Jackson State, which
that's going to be huge.
It's going to be a huge series to potentially
set things
determines who gets second place behind BCU after this weekend in the SWAC, and then Mississippi Valley State obviously coming here.
And then the series against FAMU here with Jamie Shute bringing the Rattlers in here. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We played them over at Bethune-Point. They have not played in here in 2 years.
We played at Bethune-Point a couple of times last year. This one's hit high in the air, and that'll make the bleachers down the left field line. Played at Bethune-Point Park, which is a public park a couple of miles down the road to avoid conflicts with any Tortugas. And this year, the Wildcats are avoiding that by front-loading a lot of their home games, hence this 13-game homestand through the month of March, and then an 18-game road trip in April, and Tuero does not like the call as he's punched out on strike 3 looking. Now here's Garrett Chun. Chun singled and scored in the first, popped out to center in the third, grounded out to first in the fourth, hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the fifth, and struck out in the seventh. He has not had an amazing day at the plate. Ball outside corner, 1-0. Hasn't really done much of the field either. Only 2 putouts for Chun. Outside and low, 2-0. No rest for the groundskeepers here at the Jack.
You got to bring the sweeper out, man, and clean up around the mound and home plate and go home.
Inside 3-0. I mean, because they've got 18 or 13 straight Wildcat games, and then they don't have much of a turnaround before the Tortugas are in town, starting the beginning of April.
And softball, who's hosting who this weekend?
I think they're on the road, but I'll double check. I know they hosted Florida Atlantic in a doubleheader today, and they dropped both of those games, 7-0 and 6-0. They're now 0-3 against Florida Atlantic on the season. That one's drilled down the left field line. There's a base hit. Rounding second, and coming to third after the ball gets away from Bermudez. Now he rounds third. Coming home is Stevens. There will be no throw. Malik Stevens shows off the wheels. He scores from first on the RBI single by Chun. And it is 13-5 Wildcats.
That's the second time the left fielder has misplayed a ball out there.
I'm inclined to give Chun a single and an error.
Yeah, give him the single in the air. Let's see, softball, they'll be playing.
They've got 2 straight home series. They've got Jackson State in here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Alabama State the weekend after that. And hopefully we're going to get some sort of live streaming going out at Sunnyland Park on the Cat Eye Network. I'm very eager to start calling some softball.
I would love it.
I don't get to do enough of it. Got to do a little bit of it
Coach
unofficially in college.
Coach Watton has a great club, man. You see the speed of Haley Parks, the right fielder. She can fly.
Haleen Gonzalez, fireballer on the mound. The 0-1, outside corner, 1-1. This is Jason Hodges, pinch hitting for Highland Hall. Walked and scored last inning in his first inning of work out of the bench. Fouled away, 0-2 count holds. And I believe that Hodges represents the potential winning run. If he scores, that would be the 10-run rule.
13 runs on 15 hits now for the Wildcats.
Breaking ball just missed, and the count 1-2. He was really trying to set him up there, was Jacobs. Hodges fouls this one back to the screen. Hodges, this is his 34th at-bat of the season off the bench. Has started 9 games for the Cats.
Yeah, I saw him start a game against Lehigh in right field. Played well that afternoon.
That was at the beginning of the season before Coach Hernandez really got his everyday lineup together. Swing and a miss. Hodges down on strikes. And now Boris Pena with 1 on and 2 out. Been a tough day for Pena. Popped out in foul territory in the first, struck out twice in the third and fourth, walked and was stranded in the fifth, and then popped out to center in the seventh. And the wind, which was gusting really hard out to left and occasionally in from right center, has died to almost nothing. Temperature's still cool at around 64 degrees. Jacob stares down and delivers. The 1-1 is hit in the air to left. Tracking back, Bermudez. He slips. Did he make the catch? Oh, my goodness, he hung on to it.
Wow.
David Bermudez, get out your magical hat. As he saves a run, potentially two, with a diving play out in left field to end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we head to the top of the 9th. Wildcats need 3 outs to get away with this one. It's 13-5, BCU over Stetson. Already thrown 41 pitches tonight, Darius York is back out on the mound for the 9th to try and get 3 more outs and get the Wildcats home with a 13-5 lead. Andrew Estrella is the first batter up for the Hatters, and he swings and misses at the first pitch.
That's what we like to see. First pitch swinging.
York is one of those guys that just goes after people and attacks hitters on the mound. He doesn't like to mince his words, so to speak, as he throws a fastball in there for a strike in the count 0-2.
That's what you want to see. These young guys coming in, man, form an identity for the season. He can come in and just be a nice closer for the Cats.
That one in the dirt, 1-2. York, a senior from Snellville, Georgia. Played 3 seasons at the community college level. Here's the 0-2. High in the air, foul, right-hand side. Freshman year at Erskine College, then 2 years at Catawba Community College, including redshirting his sophomore season. And this is his 2nd season at BCU.
That's 3.
And strike 3. Estrella goes down looking, and he may have some words for our home plate umpire, Chris Pittman, on his way back to the dugout. Here's Bermudez. Struck out in the 2nd. Singled and scored on the 4th. Grounded out in the 5th and was hit by a pitch in the 7th and was stranded on 1st. York deals. This one's hit right back where it came from to center field. Tracking it is Stevens, and he makes the catch. And there's 2 away.
So the Cats, man, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 over the last 2 years over the Hatters. They're 1 out away from getting it done. And they're going to have to face the man who's been the thorn in their side all night, David Labrador.
Don't give him anything to hit.
2 solo home runs for Labrador
right
in the game.
Give him 4 pitches on the base.
1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 6th. And a strike.
It's been a pleasure sitting in with you this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get to do it a couple more times this season. Plenty of games coming up here at the Jack. High in the air to left.
Oh, not another one.
Tracking back. Track. Wall for Chun. He makes the catch to end the ball game. This one goes to the maroon and gold. In dominating fashion, I might add, with a final score of 13-5. And man, oh man, I tell you, if the wind was still blowing out to left,
Yeah, that'd have been another home
Labrador would have gotten a third one. The Wildcats win this one. They get 13 runs on 15 hits. They commit 2 errors and leave 12 on base. Stetson gets 5 runs on 9 hits. They commit 1 error and also leave 12 on base. And with the Wildcats leaving the bases loaded twice in the ball game, you got to think, Daryl, this could have been a lot more.
Yeah, you know, the Cats have left a number of runners on base. That's one of the eyesores in their stat sheet. And like you said earlier, the Cats took an early lead, and we've been used to coming from behind. And we took a lead, and we gave up a lead, 5-3, and then the bats woke up.
At one
13
point,
runs on 15 hits.
At one point, at the end of the top of the fourth, Stetson looked to have been cruising. They're up 4-2. They've gotten 8 straight outs, and well, here come the Cats in the 4th inning. After, who led off the 4th? Moya led off the 4th with a pop out. Then Braceras doubled. Garcia was hit by a pitch. Perez walked to load the bases. Stevens got a 2-run base hit. Torrero with a base hit, and that plated 3 runs in the 4th. Then in the 5th, Pena led off with a walk. Moya singled. Braceras walked to load the bases. Garcia walked in a run. Then Perez with a 2-run, 2-out double. Malik Stevens also singled in a run and scored himself. That was 8 runs in 2 innings, and the Wildcats never looked back, eventually finishing this one with a 13-5 win. Daryl, your final thoughts on a long but successful night at the Jack.
Great afternoon for baseball, great evening. Cats got the bats going after that long stretch with those great teams that we played last week. Looking forward to Mississippi Valley State this weekend to enhance our lead in the SWAC.
Big series coming up against Mississippi Valley State starting on Friday. You can catch that game starting at 7 p.m. right here on the Cat Eye Network. For Daryl Natil and our entire Cat Eye Network team here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, my name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very pleasant rest of your evening.
Good night.